It was one of those mornings when the world felt just a little too quiet. The kind of quiet that seeps into the walls, into your cup of tea, into your very breath. The sky outside Willow Creek was pale and sleepy, and I could hear the faint hum of Evelyn's lawnmower somewhere down the street. I turned on the radio, more out of habit than anything else. I've always liked the company of soft music while I make breakfast. The announcer's voice was cheerful, talking about some new local bakery, and I smiled absently, thinking how Dan would have teased me for never baking anything more ambitious than banana bread. Then it happened. A few gentle notes floated through the static, like sunlight breaking through clouds. My hand froze on the teapot. I knew that tune. My heart knew it before my mind could name it. Forever Starts Tonight, by the Harbor Lights. Our wedding song. I hadn't heard it in years, not since that summer evening when Dan and I danced in the kitchen with the windows open, the smell of rain drifting in, and the radio playing just loud enough to drown out our laughter. And now, there it was again, the melody wrapped around me like a warm embrace. I sank into my chair, tea forgotten, eyes blurring as the memories poured in. Dan's rough carpenter hands holding mine. His quiet humming in my ear. The way he'd whisper, "You'll always be my song, Grace." I closed my eyes and could almost feel him there, swaying with me. Barefoot on the kitchen tiles. Maybe it was coincidence. Maybe it was something more. But in that moment, it felt as if heaven itself had tuned the radio just for me, and I whispered, "Hi, Dan. I've missed you." I don't know how long I sat there, letting the song wash over me. Maybe 3 minutes, maybe a lifetime. When it ended, the announcer came back, cheerful as ever, but I barely heard a word. I just sat still, holding my cup with both hands, the steam long gone cold. It's funny how music does that, how a few notes can pull you through time faster than any train ever could. 1 minute you're a 58-year-old widow in a quiet house, and the next, you're 24 again, standing in a white dress that cost more love than money, with your whole future standing right in front of you. Dan loved that song. He used to whistle it whenever he was fixing something around the house. Once, I caught him singing it to Emily when she was a baby, rocking her in his arms. His voice wasn't perfect, but oh, it was full of warmth. She'd stop crying the second he started. The song ended that day, but its echo stayed. It followed me as I cleaned the kitchen, as I dusted the picture frames on the mantel. There's one frame that always stops me, our family photo from Max's 10th birthday. Dan's arm around me, both kids grinning with cake on their cheeks. Sometimes I wonder if they remember him the same way I do. Max doesn't talk about his dad much anymore. He's busy with his own life, and Lena always has a dozen plans that keep them moving. Emily does, though. She still calls me every Sunday, just to check in. And once in a while, we talk about Dan. Those are my favorite calls. That morning, after the radio song ended, I thought about calling her. Just to say, "You'll never guess what I heard today." But something stopped me. Maybe it was that I wanted to keep it, that tiny, perfect visit from the past, all to myself, just a little longer, because when love visits, even in echoes, you hold on tight. That afternoon, the sky turned gray, one of those quiet, sleepy afternoons that make you want to sit by the window with a blanket and let the world drift by. I made myself a cup of chamomile tea, the kind Dan never liked. He used to tease me, saying it smelled like boiled flowers. I smiled remembering that, as I sat down, the song replayed softly in my mind. Not the melody this time, but the feeling. The warmth of his hand in mine. The way he'd look at me across the table when he thought I wasn't watching. It wasn't grand love, not the kind you see in movies. It was steady. Dependable. The kind that sneaks into your bones until it becomes part of who you are. Sometimes people talk about moving on. But I don't think love ever really ends. It just changes shape. For me, Dan is still here, in the way the floor creaks where he used to walk, in the half-finished shelf in the garage he never got around to fixing, in the song that plays when I least expect it. I looked out the window and saw Evelyn, my neighbor, watering her roses. She waved, and I waved back. She lost her husband years before I did. Once she told me, grief never leaves, Grace. It just learns to sit quietly beside you. That day, her words made sense in a way they hadn't before. I wasn't sad, not exactly. Just full. Like my heart had stretched to hold both love and loss together, and somehow, that was okay. When evening came, I lit the little candle by Dan's photo. I whispered, "You must have sent that song, didn't you?" And though the house stayed silent, something in me answered, a calm, gentle knowing that he heard. That night, for the first time in months, I slept with a smile. The next morning, sunlight spilled through the curtains, soft and golden. I sat by the kitchen window again, this time with fresh coffee and a lighter heart. The world outside looked ordinary, birds on the fence, the mailman walking by, yet everything felt just a little bit more alive. As I watched the day begin, I thought about how many of us carry our memories quietly, like folded letters tucked away in a drawer. We open them only when the world slows down long enough to let us feel. That song on the radio, it wasn't just a memory of Dan. It was a reminder that love never really fades. It lingers in tiny, unexpected moments, waiting to find its way back to us. Later that day, Emily called. She said she'd been thinking of her dad, and for a second, I just sat there, stunned. She didn't know about the song. But somehow, she felt it too. Maybe love has a way of connecting hearts, even when words aren't spoken. I told her about hearing the song, and she laughed softly. Dad always did have perfect timing. We both stayed quiet for a while, letting the silence say what words couldn't. After we hung up, I looked around this little house, the walls, the photographs, the quiet corners, and felt grateful. For the life I had, for the love I was given, and for the chance to keep sharing these stories with all of you, because maybe, somewhere out there, someone else heard a song today that brought them back to a love they thought they'd lost. And maybe my story will remind them that it's okay to smile again. Sometimes, love returns not to break you, but to remind you that you were once deeply, beautifully loved.